Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Rewind that. It's your girl, Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Tonight, guys, we are talking about the Netflix docuseries Get Gotti. Yes, we are here to talk about episode number 1. Okay, so that means that next week we're going to talk about episode number 2, and then the week after that episode number 3. So that's how we're doing it, guys. And here to talk with me is my girl. Pretty girl loves trap content. Hey girl.
We over here. You over here all black. I'm over here in the black. You know, we ready, mobbed up. We mean business.
Okay, stop playing now. So just tell me, I mean, we're going to get right into it because I feel like if I ask you to say how you felt about it, it's going to be like a snowball effect. So try in your mode, like in the smallest way possible to just tell me how you felt. I mean, you don't have to say much. Just tell me how you felt when you were watching it.
Okay. Well, I'll give you, that's what it is. I'll summarize it in 3 words.
Okay.
Okay. Informative, hilarious, and educational.
Okay. Very, very, okay, good. Yes, I feel the same way. Hold on. My daughter is really violating. Sorry about that.
No, you
Can't
good. Hey,
stand
chat.
that she freaking do that crap. What's up, Jeremiah, Samara, RD, Rashonda Greer, and Zamarcus Vaughn? If you guys have seen it, let us know what you guys think about it. Regardless if you've seen it or not, you know John Gotti. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. If there are some things that you did not know, well, we're here to help you out because I'm just pretty much relaying the message. Okay. All right. So here's my thing. Let's start off with this, girl. So here's my thing is why, okay? When we start watching and when it first turns on, right? Go into the episode, they got us feeling like we about to watch some type of Hallmark Christmas movie, feel good, joyous. Like, I'm like, what are y'all doing?
So don't judge my parenting, right? My nephew was in the living room with me when I turned it on. And I don't put him on to my old school flicks. He was like, is this a new Home Alone? Like,
right?
He legit thought we was really about to get into a movie. He said, well, it looks like a movie. I said, it's a documentary. He said, well, we going back. If I'm going back and forth with an 8-year-old about the beginning of this goddamn documentary. I'm like, go upstairs.
You cannot blame the baby because, child, look at it. Like, it had straight, like, movie. It was not documentary style yet. It was straight. It came on like it was a movie, and it's all jolly. Talking about, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, what is happening?
I know. It got me missing, my childhood going to Rockefeller Center. Like, it was giving me vibes. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm like, what is happening here? What in the free what? Oh, my gosh. So, and it's talking about December 1985. Sorry, it's all crooked or whatever. But, so this woman by the name of Laura A. Ward, right? And she's telling us how it was December 16th of course, 1985. And she was sitting in her office working on the Paul Castellano case, okay? A case that she'd been working on for almost a year, all right? And so, she's working on it all this time. So we hear that Paul Castellano was awaiting a trial, and it was like the biggest organized crime case, right? Ever, okay? Because this guy was considered like the boss of bosses, all right? And so he was the who also happened to be the boss of the Gambino family. So the Gambino crime family, should I say. So anyway, Laura says that all of a sudden her phone rings and an FBI agent was on the other end, and he tells her that Paul Castellano was dead. And so I was like, oh shoot. So now we already starting off, like, oh, sookie. Now we get into the already done got to the meat. They done had us all jingle belled out. And now they got to the meat, okay, of it all. How everything pretty much started, or just kind of like, I know you were saying something about how they kept going back and forth between the timelines, but it's like they put us in the middle of the movie. And now it's like, oh, what's happening here? Where do we go?
So, it wasn't as bad as second watch. I probably was being a little complaining. But yeah, I will feel away. Like I'm putting all this effort and time, and that she probably wasn't getting any sleep. And for her, like the main person of this case to be just off like that, I ain't gonna lie, I will feel away.
Yeah, and she said that. She said it felt like all her hard work just went down the drain. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like, I know you watched The Wire before. Like we talked about that, where when Stringer Bell died, it was like McNulty was just like he lost a person. Like Ken, they say, was making fun of him. Oh, he lost Ken. Yeah. But it was just like, oh my gosh, all this time. And he said, we finally had him. And he doesn't even know. So, they're putting all this hard work into this case, and she gets a call that this man is dead, the boss of bosses. So you get all these people. You got a Gotti associate. You got a few other people, mobsters talking, FBI representatives talking, and they're saying, like, who would kill the boss of bosses? Like, who the heck would have the freaking cojones to do this, right? So the news starts spreading around that Paul's death had something to do with John Gotti. Okay, like it was abundantly clear that he was the one who did Paul in. Okay. So, this is one thing that I do like about this documentary is that they kept showing the people how they looked back in that time.
Yes.
Versus how they look now. I actually like that.
Yeah, so, I actually recognized a couple people.
You did.
It was like one person specifically. I'm like, I know that. I remember seeing that face on TV.
Okay. Yeah. No, there was somebody too. I think it was the Barbara Nevins person, or maybe somebody else. But it was I think it was one of the ladies.
Okay. It was.
He looked familiar too, though. To be honest. Yeah. What's up, Lil Rock? All right. So now I want to talk real quick about some of the things that people were saying in this documentary. So we have let's bring up the first quote. Okay, like this was a bit much, but this is what they were saying back in that time. So one person said John Gotti was a Marvel superhero before there were Marvel movies. That was by Barbara Nevins Taylor. Okay. And so then you get Gabe, an FBI agent. He says the mob is supposed to be a secret organization. He flaunted it. He played up to the camera. All right. I mean, as you can see, look at him. He's all smiles. And the man is not bad to look at, not hard to look at all. Or was it, right? So then you got, I'm starting to get tired of these headphones, child. They just be coming out of my ear all the time now. I'm sorry. So now you got, he loves being in the limelight and the public loved him. Anthony, I'm going to say Ruggiano Jr. So he's a mobster as well. He made law enforcement look incompetent. That was from George Gabriel, the FBI agent. Now, to me, this was the biggest one, like between him being a Marvel superhero. And then, because to me, I feel like she represents the media who thinks this is all fun and games. I mean, we're going to talk about that a little later, right? She represents the media. So she's saying stuff like, oh, this is so exciting. Like he was the Marvel superhero before there were Marvel movies. Like, this is not cute. This man is out here deleting people and stuff like that, right? Okay. And so then you got the FBI guy saying he made law enforcement look incompetent. And for the people, the power folks that are in here, people like Stacey Marks, we kind of get why she's so pissed off. Like I don't care for her, but when you watch this, you kind of see and you put yourself in their shoes and you're like, yo, they got egos too.
Yeah.
And so if you out here playing them, they gonna really have a hard on for you.
Like who's it? Jenny Sullivan, who kept losing in book 2, like just losing loss after loss. Was like,
yes,
my job may be in danger.
Exactly. And then this was a career case as well. So you know what I mean? And we'll get to that. But did you want to say anything about any of these little, little quotes or anything before we move on?
I don't know. Well, not really specifically the quotes, just the adjectives they used to describe him. It got me thinking and questioning, like, how did that fare with the older mobsters or the more traditional mobsters? Like, hey, we got this guy over here. They probably in the news. They a mockery of our thing. This thing of ours.
Right.
So I was just curious of how people really, maybe the newer school mobsters was cool with it, but like the old heads, like I was just curious, like, did they have an issue with this?
Yeah. And that's the funny thing, because remember in our private conversation, we were talking about how he just was flaunting everything. And I said something about like, but he was the boss of bosses. So who going to check me? But,
Exactly.
who going to check the boss, and they did, they did say something about that. Like they were talking about how, they were used to, like when he made his court appearance, which we will talk about later, when he made his court appearance, he's coming through all dapper and this and that, like ready for the cameras, like I'm here, you know what I'm saying? And he's not camera shy. He welcomes it. He wasn't like, get out my way or grunt, and they were saying too that the most mob bosses that they knew of were older men. Here come this younger, flashy, handsome dude who was not afraid of the cameras.
Yes.
And was like, And then you hear the other mob dude saying he loves the limelight. And it's just kind of like, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, Teflon Don. So, all right. So back to the whole deletion or execution of Paul Castellano, right? So now the feds are trying to, let me get this off of here. Sorry about this. So this is George Gabriel, obviously. And honestly, I like the fact that, because you imagine being on an FBI squad or whatever, and it's called the Gambino squad. Like, that's just insane. Like, I'm working with a Gambino squad. I wouldn't even tell nobody. Back in that time, you wouldn't even know. Like, shoot, I got a regular job. I work at McDonald's. What's it that? Ain't knowing Nathan's about my job, child. What's up, Renee? Yeah, they sure was glorifying him. Like, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, back to the Paul Castellano case. So now the feds are trying to figure out, if they can make this case, of course, because now it's done turned into an M case, right? So George Gabriel, as you see right here, he says that they were fortunate enough to have a few informants that were a part of like the inner circle of Gotti, right? They let them know that Gotti was behind the hit, right? But the problem was they couldn't come out and testify because they would be exposed. So all they could do was try to find witnesses that saw it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have a question for you. Because I question this. What constitutes as like what is the determinant of an informant that just stay an informant, just C14 classified, G14 classified, versus when an informant really has to go and testify? Like, who determines that choice? Because it seems like they have people that can yes, they would have to go to Arizona and be in the witness protection program. I'm just curious as to why, they decided just to keep these, they feel like these people are just beneficial just to keep tabs on John Gotti, or, I'm just curious that they allowed them to, just stay low profile and not have to testify.
Yeah, girl, this is a serious real life scratch in my head moment, because it really didn't make any sense, because it's like but now even as I'm saying it, I see why it does make sense, but at the same time it still doesn't, because they could have put them in witness protection, because I was thinking like how they were saying they would be exposed, right? Obviously they would come out They got to be on the stand. They got to testify. You know what I'm saying? And then that's it. The mob is on you. Like they're on your family. They're on this. They're on that. But then, so if that's the case, then put them in WITSEC. I mean,
that's what it's for, right?
Yeah. So that was probably a lot too. Yeah. RD said probably didn't want to expose an undercover. I mean, but wouldn't this be the perfect time? This is the new boy. He just got appointed to be the new godfather, the new boss, right? After the Castellano got deleted. So it would kind of be like, I don't know. Maybe they wanted to get more dirt.
Yeah.
But they were trying to they were trying to close the case. Oh, child. We gonna have to move on.
Yeah, I was like, I can't. Yeah, I kept scratching my head. I was like, you know what? I'm done.
We gonna have to move on because that is so. Yeah, that's definitely a conundrum. Oh my gosh. Okay, so before we move on, an interesting thing was said in the documentary was that Tommy DeSimone was mentioned, right, as someone that John Gotti was affiliated with. And Tommy DeSimone, guys, who, if you may not know, this is who Joe Pesci played in Goodfellas. Okay. And so he kind of ran with John Gotti as well, robbing trucks and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, it's pretty interesting. You know what I'm saying? So John Gotti go pretty much way back, honey.
Yeah, that was a fun fact.
Back. Yeah, fun fact. All right. So we have here this is one of the Anthony Ruggiano Jr. He says he's a mobster, and they're explaining that John Gotti, like, basically his rise is that he was willing to commit or deletion without asking any questions, right? When he was like a capo or just a regular regular guy, he wasn't made or anything yet. So they were saying, matter of fact, he wasn't a capo. Yeah, my bad. That's not the right term, because obviously that means he was a made guy if he was a capo, right? Before he was a made guy, he was willing to delete folks without asking any questions. And this guy right here was saying that, in order to be a made guy, you had to put in that work, that M work, and so John Gotti was willing to do that. And he didn't ask any questions, and eventually he got an assignment in May of 1973 to delete a man named James McBratney, who was a problem because he was out there kidnapping Italian mob guys and holding them for ransom. And I was like, wow, this dude is freaking ballsy. Like, how in the world? How did you feel when you heard that? I was like, what?
And then John Gotti did him. Yes, you deserve it. You give your things. Yes.
Yeah, that
gold star.
I was like, oh, this guy out here touching mob folks like it ain't nothing. Like, okay, you're kind of, you're very bold. All right. Yeah. So, Gotti, he goes to jail for it. Okay. Look at that young picture. Like, this is, like I said, this is 1973. Okay. So, by that time, he goes in there in a bar with two other people, deletes the guy, right? Then he goes to prison and he comes out in 77. And I said, huh? From 73 to 75? You only spent 4 years in prison for M? I mean, maybe we clearly didn't get all the details, and they don't really care about that. No. But I'm like, how did he get off in only 4 years for deleting somebody?
Yeah, I was trying to carry the one. I didn't even have to carry the one because it was only 4 years. Okay.
I'm like, that's a little time for deletion. Like, I don't know what the heck is going on with that.
I don't know.
All right, but that's what happened. So when he came out, guys, in 77, he became a made man. Okay. There goes a little picture, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Did you have anything you wanted to say about this little part, or?
No, I mean, these were things I really didn't know. Because I know of John Gotti, but I never did a deep dive on this story.
Right.
So it was good just to get a little background on how he got to where he was.
Yes. So I enjoyed that too, the background. So, he's coming up, right? So now this guy, another mobster dude, his name is Sal Palizzi. And look, mobster. So he's saying that back in that time, John was actually projecting that he was going to be the mob boss of New York, and Sal kind of just laughed at the time. But he also admitted in this documentary that Gotti was much more clever than everybody realized. Okay. Now we also hear Sal say that when he heard about the Castellano execution, it had John Gotti written all over it because that's the type of person that he was. Like, if anybody was going to do it, it was going to be him.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's a. I mean, and yeah, when you hear like the tapes and everything, that way he talks and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, this guy was something else. And I think he mentioned something about Jesus, like as if he was like the new Jesus, or
that part.
Like, I wasn't sure, but I know he was saying something about Jesus Christ to somebody, and I'm just
I couldn't put it together. I couldn't do that. I'll pick up lunch for everybody. I can't be on the ones and twos listening to the tapes. I can't.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's too much. I don't have the patience.
Yeah, that tape work was serious, and then we'll get into that too. So speaking of the mobsters, can we talk about them for a minute? How did you feel about them? Like, what is up with them? Why are they, like, you talk about the old mobsters, right? About how you wonder how they felt about John Gotti, right? But now, how do you feel? How do you think they feel about them just speaking so freely about this?
I noticed this in the past several years. This has been like a more comfortable thing, even since like Mob Wives and even John Gotti's daughter, you know, and her three sons, they had a reality show back in the day. So I think more and more people are getting more comfortable, you know, just maybe John started a trend, child, but it just seems like, you know, they are more comfortable. Maybe the bag was looking really good, you know, because they probably is, you know, living normal lives per se, in terms of, you know, not being in the life anymore. I personally, you know, would be a little cautious if I was a mobster, like being on this documentary.
Facts.
Just as, you know, we have, you know, the like the Supreme Team and other, like, you know, it just always intrigues me to see people that was in the life, because I'll be too nervous to not incriminate myself on anything.
Right.
Because the other guy said, you know, I believe Anthony, he was like, you know, that was our job to, I mean, I don't want to go ahead, but we would, you know, go to witnesses and delete. And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel more cautious. So maybe they have like a clause, or, you know, I don't know.
And they must have done their time and everything. So where there's like no double jeopardy, you know what I mean? They had to, like, after this, I want to look into these guys.
Yeah, I'm always like that. Like, okay.
Because I need to see what kind of time they put in. Because one of the guys, Anthony, he did say, like, he was flashy. He did love his name to be in the papers. And Anthony said, even when I saw my own name in the paper, I was excited, this and that. He said, yeah, we were all excited, blah, blah, blah. He said, but we paid the price.
Yes.
So clearly he got in some trouble.
Yeah, he's second generation too. So
right. Because he brought up his father. And so I kind of put a quote from his father that he said his father made, and I wanted to talk about that a little later too. But that's what I was saying. Like, why are they so comfortable? But you're so right. Like, I remember the Gottis and the daughter and the kid, all of them making noise and all that. I'm like, it's so different nowadays. Like before, like I said, it was like a secret society kind of thing. And nobody can ever talk about it. Nobody, you can't be flashy. Remember in Goodfellas, they was deleting folks for being flashy, buying fur coats, doing this and that. Like, they was not playing around. And so
I don't. And one other thing, I'm not sure if they have their own quote unquote long-term pension. So I wouldn't know if, like, I forgot. I want to say it's Victoria Gotti. I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes when the money dries up and you got this, opportunity to tell your life and display it for, a legal opportunity, you kind of would, run at the chance to do so.
Right.
I mean, I know when people die, you get the envelopes and stuff like that, but that runs out. And, I'm sure they probably, allegedly probably hide money and everything. But yeah. This is interesting when you start exposing things.
Exactly. So I don't know how that whole thing goes on the inside, but whatever. Let's just just keep it moving. It is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
What's up, our love? All right, so where are we now? Okay, so the feds are getting very, very desperate, and they're starting to surveil. They started surveilling Gotti, right? And they found out that he held meetings at his club in Queens called Bergin Hunt and Fish Club.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so before we move on, here's the thing. Now, Anthony even said that this was a place that they hung out and they talked about crimes, like they talked about it freely. So that one guy from the organized crime task force, he was saying that he knew that they were what they were talking about inside.
Yeah.
They wanted to get on the inside so bad.
I know.
So to be a fly on the wall, you know what I'm saying? But what was I gonna say real quick? Oh, I wanted to say real quick before I forget. Like when you think about it, like when I heard that this was in like they said 101st Avenue or something like that in Queens, I said this sounds like Howard Beach. And I remember a time when I had I worked on a site in Howard Beach, right, drawing blood or whatever, right? And I was just thinking, wow, could you imagine? Like we literally don't know, just growing up in New York, that we could have been in establishments owned by these guys.
Yeah. Or shaken down.
Yes, or shaken down by them, or whatever. Like you just never know what was going on.
No, yeah, because I had when I was getting married, I had this like tiara I ordered from this shop in Brooklyn I found on Instagram. So when next time me and my husband went to New York, we went to the place. It was far off in Brooklyn, like I can't remember the area, but it was like Old Avenue. That was U Avenue, whatever. I've never been to that part of Brooklyn. And we was on the way to get our Uber, and we legit passed by this establishment. Well, it was across the street from the establishment. And legit, it was a scene from The Sopranos. Like you see these like three big Italian guys. It was summertime, so they had on like short sets. Like I was like, and they was eyeing the hell out of us. Like we didn't see nobody our color or nothing. So me and my husband, of course, we love Sopranos. But they was probably like, yeah, look at Jay-Z and Beyonce over there. You know how they be like racist.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, Uber, where are you? Because it's looking a little. It was looking kind of. I was intrigued, but at the same time, I'm like, Uber, how far?
Yes, like let's get the heck up out of here. We do not need a scene from the Bronx Tale situation. So I'm gonna theft these niggas. That's the second time these niggas came through our neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like
we never been over there, so of course we peeping out the scenery and everything, but they looking at us real hard. I'm like,
right,
yeah.
You got the audacity, like no, let's get out of here. Shoot.
Note to self, I'm staying away from this part of Brooklyn.
Exactly. I think it's like the Brighton Beach, the Howard beaches in Queens. There's another part. Oh my gosh, I know it is in Brooklyn. I know what it is, and I forgot it already. But whatever. Well,
okay.
I can't think of it right now. But man, I can't. Is it Bensonhurst? It's probably Bensonhurst, but that's like where a lot of Jews are. But they might be. Look, that was back in that time, so it might be something different now. I don't even know.
I know where they ain't at. They ain't
right. Right.
Too many moolies over there.
Too many. Yeah.
Even though we're it's gentrification, but whatever.
I know. All right, so now, like I said, they start surveilling. This is a very bad picture because, like I said, it's a surveillance type of situation. So now the organized crime task force, right? They are known to be. Now I want to. So he's the chief investigator of the organized crime, the OCTF. Okay, so we learned, guys, that they got beef. Like law enforcement got beef up in this situation, okay? Because like I said, this is a career case. Everybody wants to get Gotti, okay? So the feds really want him, but so we learned that the organized crime task force, they didn't have resources like the FBI had, right? They didn't have the money and all that. They didn't have the manpower, all of that stuff, right? But they became competition for the FBI because one guy said that they were able to do things a lot faster than them because they were a small squad, like a one squad type of thing, and they were nimble. So, they was kind of flexible with it. And when we start to tell you this story of how they got that bug in, oh my God. I was like, am I watching a movie? Oh, was like, what happened?
I was like, tell me more. Tell me. Y'all don't have surveillance on the surveillance. I want to see.
Yes, because that was crazy. I was like, no, this did not happen.
Yeah.
But this documentary really makes you realize that the stuff that we watched in, Casino and Godfellas, Goodfellas, and all that stuff is like, it's really real. I know Goodfellas is based on a true story anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing how this stuff is really like they out here like that.
Yeah, they're not making much up.
Yeah, they're out here like that, and it's no wonder. And me and you did what was that show that we did? You did with me.
Oh, with The Godfather.
Yes. Shoot, it's like one word too, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, it was so good.
I hate that I don't remember.
I know, I can't believe it. So it was like the making of the movie The Godfather, but the mob in Colombo was behind it, and they wanted to tear that guy apart because they did not. This is the old school mob. They did not want their story out. So even the fact that Goodfellas came out is something crazy but we had Henry Hill to thank for that because he was a snitch. So he was the one telling the story.
It's called The Offer.
Thank you. Yes.
It's going to bother me.
Making him off, I can't refuse. Exactly. Hello. So you kind of see why, right? Because they over here like you exposing our secrets and stuff like that, and what we supposed to be a secret thing, right? So anyway, the Organized Crime Task Force, this guy right here, Fred Riano or whatever, he says like, yo, that when they start tailing Gotti, he says that they started tailing Gotti months before Castellano was killed. Now that's crazy. Okay, so in April 1985, the chief investigator comes up with a plan to bug the Bergen Hunt and Fish Club, right? And because at this point he knows that the FBI and the Queen's DA, they failed. They tried to bug it, but they failed. All right. And so when they were telling the story in the documentary, I was so intrigued, like I said, guys, because he starts saying that, they had to create a scene and a routine on that block, right? Because people are watching. They're watching to be surveilled. Like they're looking like who's watching us, right?
Exactly.
So they had to create this thing where there was a guy that would come there every day with the truck and he would empty out like boxes or something like that, put them on the side. And they made it a routine, like as if the boxes are getting picked up. He was going into the shop. Do you remember what?
Yeah, he was going into the diner, getting a meal. It was like clockwork. Like every day. So they got
so the people in the neighborhood, they got used to it. So one day they said, and this took about a month or so. So one day they were like, you know what, we're ready. So they put a big refrigerator box close to the door, right? And they had a man who knew how to pick locks. So what happened was inside that box that no one was going to think anything of, because like I said, this is clockwork by now. They done created a routine. There was a man inside of that box. And when the coast was clear, he, scooches over in the box, like they created like a hole in the box, right? And he picked the lock and they got inside. I was like, oh my God. So the part that had me like biting my nails, can you guess what part had me biting my nails?
When somebody was peeping through from the outside.
Yes. So they come. So there was one guy that's outside, he's the lookout, right? And these other dudes show up and they pull up in front of the club and they're just watching the door. Then they get out and they're trying to like open the door. And so the guys on the inside are like, this guy right here, Fred, was it him? Maybe I think it was him, right? He said, nobody move. We're the burglars. Let's see what they do.
But I was trying to figure out, did I miss something? How did the other people go? Like, did they have a back door they went through? Because if that one person was in a refrigerator box unlocking, picking the lock, like how did everybody just sneak through? Like I was trying to figure out the logistics of how that worked.
Right. Maybe they just all went through the door. I don't know.
Yeah.
They ain't kind of specify that.
I'm nosy. I'm like, how y'all did all that?
I know, because if it was supposed to be such a big secret, then they said it was like 3 or 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
Going through the front. Like, I don't think they would go through the front door, but maybe they did. I don't know. I don't know. So, but the way they were able to get away was pretty interesting as well, because the guy that was on the lookout, he comes, he brings the car around the corner, and then the other dudes that was, trying to knock on, trying to open the door, go and follow him. He said they followed him for like what, a quarter mile, half of something like that. I said, oh my gosh, that's scary. Shoot, I would have had to probably, I don't know, bust some shots after a while. But see, they didn't even they
already Miss Cake in the blinky eye.
I'm just saying, because that's law enforcement.
I know. Oh, God.
But they were able to, put the bug in the phone, and they were also able to just, walk out of there, which was great.
Yeah.
But man, and already look, the funny thing is they said already they heard a conversation about deleting folks. Come to find out, it was nothing but a mob movie in the background.
Yeah, that took me out. Like, see, yeah.
I was like, oh, that's kind of cute.
No, that ain't cute. Because if it was me, I'm like, no, I need another assignment, please.
You would be mad. No, I'm saying it's cute, like as
I know
something that they revealed to us, because it is kind of embarrassing a little bit for them. Yeah, but it's kind of cute that they really were like, oh shoot, they're already. I know, right?
It's stuff. Turn it up, son.
It was Nathan's. Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh, that was
so just like we always hear on like the shows that we watch. So the court gives them 90 seconds to listen to the conversation, right? And they said that they can tell that his guys admired him. So it kind of goes back to what you were saying, that maybe Gotti kind of set this tone, what I'm saying, where it's okay to be flamboyant and out there like that. We're going to do it differently, because he was able to get people to, look up to him and admire him and things like that. So one thing that we do find out is that John had a gambling addiction, a gambling problem. So what I want to say before I totally forget is that it was apparent that he was a loser. He lost a lot, right? Because he said he can write a freaking encyclopedia on how to lose in gambling. Remember he said that on the tape?
I missed that.
He was like, I write an encyclopedia on how to lose. Like he doesn't have good luck. But child, I tell you, he should have bet on them trials, okay? Because that's what the man's luck was.
Oh gosh, he probably did. Well, other people probably was.
Right. I'm just gonna leave it at that, because clearly he was not, when it came to the racetrack, casino, whatever it was, he was not lucky. Okay. So yeah, we know, like I said, he had a gambling problem, right? And but the OCTF, they weren't able to like pick up a crime, right? It wasn't illegal to actually gamble.
Yeah.
But it was illegal to run like a gambling type of, thing. And that's not what he was doing. And so in order to renew the electronic surveillance, aka the bug or the wire, the task force would have to keep finding new crimes. Yeah. And they just kind of felt like, it's not really worth it. So they took the wire out. They disconnected it. And, they claimed that at the time that they didn't hear nothing that would indicate the hit on Castellano. And isn't that crazy that they had this man bugged months before the hit on Castellano and they missed it?
Yeah, because crazy. From my understanding of the timeline, they started surveilling, the bug, or either the bug or surveilling like April.
Yeah.
And then they stopped it in October. And Paul, was knocked off, in December. Like, I would have been upset.
But, yo, for real. Oh my God. Talk about bad luck. That was terrible. Okay. But they still had the tapes. Okay. So when Castellano got hit, I don't know if this is not, I'm just gonna keep this up there, or this dude up here. So when Castellano got hit, right, the task force went back and reviewed the tapes that were marked inaudible, because we found out that there was a bunch of tapes that were marked inaudible, right? And that's when they were able to hear that there was some issue between John and Paul. So apparently Paul had this rule that if you sold drugs, then you were gonna get whacked, okay? And Gotti wasn't playing by the rules, I guess. Like, we heard him on the surveillance thing talking about some mind your effing business and stuff like that. He was very pissed off at Castellano. Did you want to say something about that?
When Sal said, "You do the smack, you get
the whack," yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on here?
It was hilarious to me. That's one thing they're gonna do. They're gonna have some good sayings.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh. For real, for real. I was like, wow, you do the smack, you get the whack.
But
go ahead.
I don't know if I should wait to ask this question or not, because I probably could. Go ahead, because you're probably in the middle of something.
Okay. So yeah, I was just gonna say, because we're gonna finish talking about the whole smack and whack thing, right? So there were rules in place, right? And the rules were in place because the guys were actually getting football numbers for, dealing drugs, right? And this also gave the FBI an opportunity to turn dudes into informants, because they would say, okay, you either do life or you start talking, you know what I'm saying? And so I understand why Paul Castellano had this rule, but some dudes felt like the risk was worth it because they made a lot of freaking money.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can, before I continue, if you had the question, you could.
Yeah, so when they broke down Paul's charges before he died, like, in the midst of that case, they included, drug smuggling. So I was a little confused, because if drugs was a no-no for Paul, was this charge from Gotti's crew and they just kind of threw it on Paul? Or
yeah,
I was
it probably was
about that. I mean, I probably got to do my own research. I'm not sure if they're going to cover it or not. But I was like, I'm a little curious about how these charges are.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good question. But it might be. You never know. It might be like a whole crew thing. You know how they like to add stuff on just because you're the boss. You're the boss of bosses. So they definitely going to put all the stuff. You're the umbrella, basically. They're going to put everything under there with you. And that's the reason why some bosses get the way they get, because it's like, you're going to make them come look at me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
At the end of the day. So yeah, you do the smack, you get the whack. So, then you get Anthony. Let me see if I can find him real quick. Anthony over here talking about some, his dad, he would first of all, he was saying that the guys that played by the rules, they didn't make no money. But the guys that were breaking the rules, actually doing it, they was making mad money. But it was like a known rule, but kind of unspoken. Nobody really said anything. People knew that there was guys that was out there breaking the rule and everything. And he said he would see people bringing his father like duffel bags of heroin and all of that. And he'd be like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. That's blood money. And he said he would look at his father like, you're a murderer and you're worrying about blood money?
That's hilarious. But I had to justify it, because I'm like, okay, he will be the target if he were.
And that's what he said.
Like, what? But I'm like, okay,
yeah. Yep, that's what he said. So basically, it ain't blood money as far as like what was done to get it. It's blood money for what's going to be done to him if he takes it.
Yeah, my blood money.
Right. They're going to use me and make me an example. Sure. So get out of here. What's up, Smile Now, Crying Later? She said she watched it. It was good. Yeah, we didn't watch episode. I feel like tonight I'm gonna go watch episode 2, because the way they ended it, I was like,
I know it was so hard not to keep going, but I'm so happy we can get this over with so I can watch it.
I know. I was like, yo, y'all making me mad. They not playing about it. They're like, we gonna make sure y'all watch your list now. So where was I? Okay, so Paul. All right. So yeah, right. So long story short, guys, the word gets around that Paul plans to kill Gotti after Christmas. Okay, like this happened through like some type of. It was kind of like it was mentioned. Okay. But before that, let me get up to this guy here. So before that, though, Tommy Bilotti, don't he look like an actor? So, before that, Paul overlooked John, right? And he appointed Tommy Bilotti, as you see on the left, to be the underboss. And this happened about a week or two before Paul was deleted, right? So they were saying that this was a pretty big mistake on Paul's part because John thought that he was going to be next in line. All right. So now back to Paul saying that he was going to delete Gotti after Christmas. Well, it just so happens that according to Anthony, John is a gangster who doesn't give a what about Christmas. Okay. He said he doesn't give a F about Christmas. Okay. And here it is me. I'm adding he cancels Christmas on Paul and Tommy Bilotti. And I was like, yo, is this where they got canceled Christmas from?
I wrote that down. I'm like, Power Riders.
Yes. Did y'all get this? Did y'all get this from? I mean, come on. It has to be.
It has to be.
This dude literally canceled Christmas, and he said that, like, Paul is being a gentleman. Like, I'm gonna let him spend the last Christmas with his family, and then I'm gonna delete
photos.
Yeah. And Gotti said, I don't care about it.
That was hilarious to me. I definitely took note. I'm like, oh, he really canceled Christmas. He said,
Right.
oh, the 16th, it's your day, 5 p.m., Midtown.
Right.
Have a good dinner. He at least had a full stomach.
In the middle of folks shopping and all of that. Now, I feel like I remember, did they say he was his bodyguard too?
That was the thing. In the beginning of the documentary, they said Tommy Bilotti was his bodyguard, but then at this time, he was his underboss. So that was kind of inconsistent to me. I've noticed that, but I tried to let it go. I wasn't trying to be petty, but it was hard.
And maybe that's because at the time, like the news, they only knew him as the bodyguard. And they didn't know, they weren't up on the fact that he just got promoted.
Yeah, they didn't get the update. The updated reports from the
Christmas. Yo, I'm sorry. Christmas got canceled, child. Now, here's another thing that I want to say about it's not just these documentaries, but it's something that I've noticed. Like when you watch all the documentaries on mobsters and stuff, they really be showing their bodies, and I just think that it's so disrespectful. Like, I understand that these people, they probably look at them like they're monsters or they're, inhuman, but I'm just like, come on, do we need to see that?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy.
Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Were you thinking more so like with the newspaper productions or magazines? Like, what are you talking about in the actual documentary, or like when the documentaries show and illustrate the newspapers, how they would show the bodies? Exactly, like what part were you talking
Both, like just the fact that they're showing the bodies.
Oh, okay.
Like there's just no
decor.
Yeah. It's just like, wow. So because these men they probably look at them like they're animals. So it's like, it's okay, gunned down on the street, that's fine. But it's just like, yo, we don't need to see this. I mean, they be looking crazy.
Yeah.
Like this dude, Paul Castellano, I was not going to capture it. Like his mouth, I think he might have gotten shot in his mouth as well. Like it looked bloody over that. Doesn't mean he got shot in his mouth. He could have, the blood could have just came out. But didn't he say something on the camera? I mean, not on the camera, on the video. I think he might have said something about being shot in the mouth. Like, I need to go back and watch. Okay. I don't know. Huh?
I can't recall because
because
he got shot a couple times, but
he got shot a lot. Maybe remember I told you I had fell asleep and I let it play. So maybe they explain that on the second one or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But I might be wrong, but I'm telling you, I just feel like I heard them say something like this. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's crazy. But talk about sending a message like in the middle of Midtown, Christmas shopping, the boss of all bosses, like John, he had clear directions. Like his claim to fame, was even like, a glorious, just what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of, just out there, like how he was. Like he wasn't shy about what he was trying to do.
Nothing at all. Like who would dare? He would.
No subtlety.
I'm here. That's what I am.
And I didn't know if you was going to get into another reason why Paul, was kind of up for grabs, because John's brother and his best friend, was selling the smack, and John was thinking he was next to him.
Yup, and he was like, he wanted to delete his brother. He wanted to delete him, So he was thinking, this guy is after my brother. He wants to delete me. And so the way they were talking about it was like, he knew that Paul wanted to delete him eventually. And it's like, I'm going to get you before you get me. But also the way they made it seem was that it was the last straw or something, or was a big mistake to put Bilotti over him and all of that. So it was like, it was just a bunch of reasons.
Do you think it got word to John that Paul had that, kind of plan after Christmas? I couldn't read if John, kind of got wind of that specific detail.
Yeah, it seems like it got wind because the way they try to word it.
Yeah.
They were saying that he made a statement or something. Paul made a statement. And then I don't remember them saying it got back to John, but I feel like it did.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, they tried to play it off a little. I feel like they tried to play it off and act like, oh, because why would you make a play on words like that and say, oh, he made a statement, that this is what happened. So, I mean, that this is what he wants to do. This was the plan. You know what I'm saying? But then I think it was Anthony that was saying, so John figured, hey, this guy doesn't like me. He wants my brother dead. And so, and he's also put Tom over me. So I'm going to take him out before he takes me out. You know what I'm saying? Plus, you can hear all on the tapes and everything that John, he was acting real like arrogant about a lot of stuff. Like, everybody's so scared to do this and so scared to do that. He was like, we ain't scared. I'm like, to me, he was one of those kind of people that he wanted to rub you the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Because he already, like the dude Sal said, he already put it out there that he was gonna be a boss of New York one day. So he was already on the Wish a Nigga Woods trail. So that's how I feel about it. Or whatever they call each other.
I don't know why. I just think I'm doing my rewatch for Raising Kanan. So Rock was like, these pizza boys.
Yeah, pizza mother lovers. So he was already on that. Like, what should So so Smile Now says John knew when he didn't get the gig, he was next to be offed. Yeah. So guys, the bug is back up and running after John gets promoted or after he becomes the boss. Okay. And it seems like a lot of people, nobody's missing Paul. They seem to be just celebrating John. And then Anthony was saying, listen, he the new boss, he lives closer to me. He likes me. I'm like, yo, y'all don't have no.
He's from the neighborhood. Do you think
he's from the neighborhood? Huh?
Do you think it was mostly because John was cool with selling the smack and that will be more profitable?
Probably.
Because Paul's just off looking at him. He just seems like kind of like a prick anyway.
Yeah, true.
John's like more of a fun boss.
Yeah, true. You hear him on the thing too. He said, I'm not, he said something about being an a-hole, whatever. He was like, I'm a friend. And then he was like, did you go over to Bobby's wedding or something? Whose wedding did it look like? Somebody was like, yours.
Yes. My door's always open.
Yeah. So
Oh,
so on after they put the bug up and running because they hear that he's the new boss, the new godfather in town. So they hear a lot of information, right? They hear about the companies and the working operations and all of this stuff. And not only this though, he's using full names, child.
Yes, that was crazy.
Yeah, he's using full names. And so and then as far as it's such a good question that you just had where you said, do you think he was more welcomed because of the fact that he was with the, selling of the drugs? And we did hear Anthony say like we was bringing in 90 to 100,000 every day. You know what I mean? So yeah, if it was like that, they was definitely happy.
Yes,
because John was bringing in that bread, honey. So let's bring it down. So now we have Gotti, who has a pending case where he had a fight with a man over a parking space. Right. And this was back in 1984. Okay, so it's a refrigerator repairman. So this is a civilian. So I guess maybe there's a car that John was parked in. It was double parked. The dude is blaring on the horn, and John gets out and punches him square in the daggone face. Okay, so the dude goes out. His name is Pycheck, Romulo Pycheck or whatever. And so he goes out and he waves. He flags down some cops. John gets arrested along with another person. All right. And so sorry, like I said, this happened in 1984, and now we get to 1986. And you know how it is. They've been doing this since with Al Capone, right? They couldn't get him on anything but tax evasion. Okay, so now they can't really get Gotti on nothing, and now they want to bring in, the Queen's DA wants to bring the assault case to court. And it's supposed to be an open and shut case because they got a witness. You know what I'm saying? We got a man who's willing to tell. We got a little tell. Teacher, he hit me. Waving, you know what I'm saying? Waving down the cops. Okay, but then this is fast forward. So now the witness finds out. And it was so funny how the guy was saying, could you imagine that you think this regular guy hit you and you press charges on him, comes to find out now he's the new godfather? I was like, that would be some scary crap. Okay.
Yeah, that's why you gotta be careful when you come to these road rage situations. You never know what's going on with that other car.
Exactly. Don't be blaring on the horns these days.
Exactly. But yeah, that's crazy. John don't have him and refrigerators don't do well. The refrigerator box in front of
the not good with the refrigerator situation. Like oh God. So before we get into this a little further, I just want to say that when they brought up the whole like fight over a parking space situation, I said, oh my gosh, a Bronx Tale. Because that whole situation, the guy got deleted.
Yeah.
And that was always the biggest question. Like, did you really kill that guy over parking space? Or what I mean? So, but yeah, parking spaces, man, they be pulling stories. I'm telling you, these writers, you can pull stories from everywhere. All right. So, but yeah, so now, the witness is nowhere to be found because he done heard that this man is a freaking he's a guy, he's the new godfather. Okay, so now we hear Anthony Ruggiano, whatever his name is, again saying that it's their job as mobsters to find, harass, and delete. I was like, wow. Delete these witnesses, okay? Because his father taught him that, you can't make money in jail. You know what I mean? So you got to do everything in your power to make sure that doesn't happen, or make sure you stay free. So deleting a witness, breaking a few bones is what we got to do. That's what we're going to do. So nobody, if you notice, they never said that they did anything to this guy, but all of a sudden when they do find him, he's in the hospital, some broken bones and a sling.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you explain. When I get to a certain part, I'm going to let you go on ahead and take the wheel, child. All right. And so here's this thing right here. You got him on here and he's talking about, the fact that this guy is this big mob boss. And then you got this dude who was, I guess the prosecutor in the case, the DA, whatever. I don't remember what he was, but he was, obviously a part of it, and a big part of it. And he says that Pycheck did not want to testify anymore. He said, but he had absolutely no choice. I said, what? How could you not have no choice in America? Like, this was kind of new to me.
Yeah.
But he said he had no choice. So, PG, please tell everyone how Pycheck had to handle this situation. For a man that ain't got no choice. What's up, Savannah?
Whatever hand you got to put on the Hi, Romano. Pycheck. Yes, you can go the spew, with the bailiff. How should I say this? I forgot.
Oh my freaking God.
English. I don't know what this man is.
How?
Wow.
They said that the men, they was like, so you see the men who did this to you, all of this, right? And they were like, they were right there in front of his face, and he looked up at the ceiling. And I don't remember, or I don't know. So yeah, so the media had their first field day with the Gotti, with John Gotti. And that was what they called one of the most, they said classic, but I'm gonna put iconic headlines of all time for the New York Post, which said, "I forgot it." Okay, and go ahead.
No, my thing is, y'all have this civilian over here pressured, scared out his life, him and his wife. Yeah, I'm not sure, they didn't mention children, but I'm assuming they probably had children.
Right.
Y'all expect all this out of him, but y'all allow the informants that's in the mob to stay, G14 classified.
Right.
Like, what did y'all expect?
Exactly.
If the monsters are scared, this man for darn sure is going to his mind. Granted, John was a capo when they went to this little situation, but of course he got promoted. Well, but yeah, that was a time.
And the thing is, I'm like, you know what? I really don't blame Pycheck. Like, because I'm with you. I don't blame him at all. Like, it's good for them, because how you gonna tell this man that he has no choice?
Yeah.
So, okay, well, you got this dude, Anthony, saying we got to do whatever in our power to stay free. Well, Pycheck gonna do whatever in his power to stay alive. Exactly. Okay, screw you guys.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think this is? I don't feel bad at all.
I want more information, because they stated when they started to call and look for him, he moved, number changed. Like, where did they end up finding him? Like, you know what I'm saying? I just want to know, like, more details.
Well, I think they pretty much end up finding him in the hospital. They literally could not find him anywhere else but in the hospital.
Okay, because I was like,
I'm like, what? It looked like, what was it in the paper? I don't know. Was it in the paper? It looked like it was. No, they did put it in the paper, because it was like, I think after the fact that they found him, then it became like a headline.
Okay. I'm like, because
that's what I'm.
Okay.
Because I went back and I know they put it in, like, it was in, in the headline after, but it was like, are they? So what? They just found him in the hospital. Like, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because they said it's like he disappeared off the face of the earth, and he didn't have a witness anymore, the guy said. And so I'm just like,
how you go from missing off the face of the earth, and then, like, was he told? That's my thing, is like, what communication with the mob? Like, they obviously they scared him, or do you think he just uprooted himself without any communication once he realized who he was up against, and then the mob maybe found him and beat him up? Like, I'm just trying to figure out.
Right. Like, I need to dig. I gotta dig a little deeper too, because it looked like the mob found him to me, but it also looked like he ran scared after finding out who John Gotti was, right? But then when you find out that he was in the hospital all bruised up, it's like, why would he be in the hospital bruised up and stuff?
Yeah.
And it's just weird. So I don't know. But he forgot. So it's okay.
Maybe we need a research episode after this.
Yeah, we gotta do definitely some research for real. So we about to wind it down, but now here's, like I said, they said a legend was born, and the media, went into this whole little frenzy thingamajiggy and stuff like that. And now during the like the documentary, we saw these like words going across the screen, and I tried to look some of them up to see if they were like actual headlines, but nothing came up. Like I saw Gotti got away, a cut above, he's a charmer, stylish but deadly, king of New York. So I wasn't sure if these were actual headlines, and maybe if they were, they probably would have actually had the pictures of
That's
it.
what I was saying.
So, but I guess maybe this was stuff that maybe quotes maybe that people were saying, right, in their in the paper or something. Because I'm like, I don't know if these are headlines, but very interesting. But people had a lot of fun stuff to say about this guy. And I don't really like the fact that this lady was calling him a Marvel superhero. How are you calling him a Marvel superhero?
That was weird. Because she was doing like a compare and contrast, like what was going on in New York, the crack epidemic, the huge disparity between, higher class and lower class. And then she uses John Gotti like more of a positive thing, like a fun thing, which is still not saying it's equivalent to the crack epidemic, but then, still a negative thing. Like
yeah, and then she's gonna say, here's this guy in New York, like, a place to get away with things.
Yeah, like
that. A place to get away with things. And here's this guy getting away with things.
I know,
like that's something fun. Like, you sound so stupid.
Yeah, that made no sense. I was just like, what? Okay, ma'am.
He's a hero. What, are you dumb? So this is how they hook us, guys. The Department of Justice. Okay, this lady right here. Let me get this I Forgotti stuff off, this iconic situation. So her name is Diana. I don't know, Gia Colon.
Yeah.
So she's a part of the DOJ. All right. So the Department of Justice now, they think they have a great case against Gotti. Great case. Okay. Like, it involved illegal gambling, loan sharking, and truck hijacking. Okay. And so they're saying, the people in the somebody in the documentary said that this was considered the entree, while the pie check trial was just the appetizer. Okay, well, honey, you saying that the appetizer, that was the appetizer, but child, it wasn't even served. Okay. And so I'm guessing that the entree is not going to get a chance to be served either, because what she said that they had more than enough evidence to convict John Gotti, but they were unprepared for the firestorm that came next. And that's how they ended the episode. I was like, no, I need to know more. Even though I'm happy that it's right there, but we got to take our time because we don't want to jump into the next thing.
No, yeah. When she said AUSA Eastern District, I said, wasn't it Angela Valdez as we doing here? Because that was Angela's from Power. That was her exact, like, her title, which was hilarious to me. But yeah, child, I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is going to be a whole nother cluster, you know what?
Yes.
that we about to get into.
Yes, indeed. So I'm very excited for it. I guess before I go to bed, I'm gonna watch the episode so I could just, just know what's going on.
I know, it so hard not moving on. And I want to get more. I'm not sure if they're gonna cover this, but the OCTF, the task force, and the FBI. Like, I want to know more information because I've never heard of this task force before. But I'm just curious because I even had to do just a light Google search. It seemed like they did things similar to the feds in terms of state, local, and possibly like federal cases. So I'm trying to figure out I already know different classifications of law enforcement, they clash. But
Yeah.
I want to understand that task force a
The
little
task
more.
force, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like why does there have to be such a difference? Why are y'all warring? Why can't y'all work together? And
Yeah.
that's part of the problem too, because even during this time, they were saying like, oh, we heard that they had a bug on them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So why is that a problem? And then they were like, oh, we didn't like them. But the guy was like, I'm not gonna say too much.
You still
It's
mad.
over. Exactly. It's over. Like you pissed.
Yep. 40 years. I'm mad.
Yeah,
Too.
because you know why? I'm guessing that the task force, well, I don't know, I'm not sure. The task force probably was the one that maybe they were responsible for putting them away for good. I don't know. Don't tell me in the chat. I don't know. We gonna find out, because all I know is I know who the snitch was.
Yeah, I'm popping popcorn when I watch the next episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get me some popcorn or something, because I was like, oh my gosh. So guys, be here. I think we're gonna try to do it next Wednesday, because I want my girl Moochie to be a part of it. She's not able to do Tuesdays for right now, but we will get back to Tuesday nights once I start doing what is that show? Breaking Bad. So, but I'm trying to get my Tuesday flow back on. You know what I'm saying? But I did want Moochie to be a part of it, especially because, she was old enough to at the time, because I was like 9. I remember him in the headlines all the freaking time. But I don't really, I wasn't really keeping up with it, didn't know that much.
Yeah.
So but she said she was in like college and she remembers, certain things. So, it'd be nice to hear her little, her feedback and stuff, of what she, how she felt around the time and all that stuff, you know what I mean? And all that good stuff. Okay, so what's going on in your channel before we get out of here, Booski?
I'm recapping Raising Canaan, a little refresher. So we're discussing episodes 5 and 6. And this is, we will get into the mob or what have you. So it was kind of fitting for this week. So I'm excited. That's Thursday at 8:15. And I also reviewed Rap-ish last night with Detroit King. So please check that out if you watched that. And if you haven't caught my recap of the Force finale, please do so. And we got Raising Canaan coming up in a couple weeks.
Please do so, y'all. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Keep your notification bell turned on when it comes to me. I'm going to try to get you guys episode number 2 for, what is that? For Top Boy. Honestly, I don't think folks care too much, because the first episode did not do good. It's like 50 views on it, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to keep it going. Don't matter. But also for Sunday, I'm hoping my crew will come to do some predictions for season 3 of Force. You know how we do every time we finish with one, I like to try to do one more power video, whether we're talking about Ghost, Force, or Raising Canaan, one more video to close it out, and that would be the predictions video for the next season. That's what we're going to do this upcoming Sunday. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be going live at all at midnight on Friday, but we'll see. You never know. Okay, but see you in the next video regardless. Take care and be blessed. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you, PG. I appreciate you, girl. See ya. Oh, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Take care and be blessed. Bye-bye.